By cleaning things up, I'm now attracting more of the type of client that I want there. It should also go without saying, but make sure that the important parts of your blog are easy to reach and well labeled. Nothing is more frustrating than wanting to find something on a site and feeling completely lost. Remember, make a clear path for them and help them on their journey. If you are using your blog as a way to legitimize your massage business, for example, it would be smarter to label the page of your services as, well, like services, or book a massage, and not something like let me get handsy with you. That is obviously a terrible example that I made up. But I think you get the idea. A great way to test this out is to ask someone who's never seen your site before, or maybe someone who's not as good with computers, maybe a parent or a grandparent, and have them look at your site. Are they able to find what they want to find? If not, how can you make it easier for them? Of course, use images to your advantage, especially in posts. We are visual creatures, so breaking up text with quality photos will keep people scrolling. Also, with any luck, you'll have people subscribing to your blog's RSS feed, meaning they'll simply have access to the content you post via an app or a site like Feedly. They won't really visit your site in the traditional sense. Images are a chance to brand yourself and quite literally be seen. The bottom line, with whatever design you go with, easy to navigate. The majority of bloggers do this with a clean, minimalist layout. While it can feel a little harder to stand out in the crowd with something like this, it is an undeniably magnetic look. Bloggers use it because people love it. It's simple and it's easy to understand. You, however, should just choose whatever style suits your needs. It's important that the design you choose resonates with your audience and communicates the purpose of your blog. For inspiration, look at other bloggers. In fact, I encourage you to always be looking at other blogs out there with similar messages to yours. I follow so many bloggers that I have lost count. They are a great source of inspiration, ideas, and those bloggers are a part of my communities. It's important to be in the know and to be connected. Now, the next task for you guys are use sites like Bloglavine or Pinterest or even Google. If you'd like to find 10 blogs with similar interests to yours or the one you'd like to have, pick out 3 to 5 blogs whose design you admire and like, and link to them, and tell us why you like the design or what you might like to incorporate into your own blog. Once you have done this, you are ready for the next section. For this lesson, I'm going to talk about what pages you should consider while setting up on your site. There are 4 that I'm going to focus on, in addition to whatever pages are vital for your blog's unique needs. These include a page for new visitors, an about page, a contact page, and an easy way for readers to access your archives. When visitors stumble upon your site for the first time, you can help make their experience even better by offering a page just for them. This is the perfect place to tell them a little bit more about what they will see on your site, how often you post, what types of posts you publish, and more. It's also a wonderful location to put in a call to action, essentially a task if they are interested in what you have to say. You can mention something like, if you like what you are reading, then sign up for my newsletter here, or pop on over to my Facebook page for more fun stuff. For the visitors who fall in love with you at first sight, this is a great way to build your community. Your About page will actually be one of your most visited pages. I know, When I read an amazing post from a new blogger, I'm always a little curious to know more about this person. On your About page, put a photo of yourself and write an introduction. It does not have to be formal. In fact, it's better to have fun with it. Focus on your passions and why you have this blog. You can also include a call to action here, maybe something like, find me on social media so we can be friends. For an example of a fabulous About page, check out Serif on Bargain. She tells a great story and offers readers many ways to get involved with what she's doing. If someone visits your site and wants to get in touch with you, how will they do it? This should be clear either by social media icons on your blog or by a contact page or both. I'm personally not a fan of contact forms and would much rather see an email address listed, but include whatever it is you're most comfortable with on your site. Last, it amazes me how many blogs I visit where I struggle to access the entirety of their archives. Make it so that visitors can easily access your old posts. If they like what they see in one of your recent posts, they'll likely want to find more of that, so make it easy to find similar posts or to scour through everything on your site. For example, if you write a lot about beauty, fashion, and film, then allow readers to find those types of posts, either by tagging those words when you write the post or creating categories to divide up what you publish. Now, the next task for you guys are you're going to start a draft of your About Me page of your site. I have chosen for you to focus on this because honestly, it can be quite challenging to write about yourself. It's fine if what you write changes in the future. But getting a head start now, we will help make it easier to create down the road. When writing your About page, think about your passion or passions, parts of your life that have led you to what you are doing now. Why you like doing X, Y, or Z, and quirky facts about yourself just for fun. Once you have got a draft ready, go ahead and let's move on to the next section. In this section, I'm going to touch on social media. Social media is a huge part of being a blogger. It's a way to promote your work, find other inspiration, and connect with fellow bloggers or industry peeps. It can also get pretty overwhelming pretty fast. There is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Periscope, and who knows what else will pop up in the near future. It's a lot to keep up with. So much that you shouldn't keep up. That's right. It is so much better to focus on 1 to 3 social media channels and do them really well than try to do them all poorly. To figure out which social media platform to focus on, think about your ideal reader. What is their age? How do they find news and new information? What do they like to do? And what do they struggle with? How do they find new blogs? From there, think a little bit on each platform. Instagram is obviously great for beautiful images, but you can't have clickable links and image captions. Snapchat is fun and wonderful for young audiences, but there is no way to search for users in a certain industry or category in the app. Twitter appeals to clients who are busy and want news in a compact way, but tweets live for about 30 minutes before getting lost in the Twitterverse. As you can see, all social media platforms have their pros and cons, and it's your job to figure out which ones are best for your readers and also which ones you enjoy the most. Managing my Pinterest and Snapchat accounts is fun. It's something I enjoy doing because I like using them. So integrating my blog into my social media channels comes easy. I tried out Periscope though, and I hated it. So I deleted it from my phone. With that knowledge, along with what I already know about the ideal reader, I have a focused view of social media platforms instead of trying to focus on all of them, which is impossible. It might take some trial and error to figure out what really works for you, so don't be afraid to morph and change your social media action plan in the future. Just know that, for whatever you do decide on, make your bio and picture on all the platforms consistent. Meaning, use the same bio and the same image for all of them. This eliminates confusion for readers who love you and want to follow you on more than one social media channel. For this task, refer to the link in description and find an incredibly useful link to forms. They have an amazing data about the pros and cons of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, LinkedIn, and Snapchat. Forbes really hits the nail on the head here, and there is just no better way for me to present this information to you and credit them fairly for their hard work. After you have taken a look at it, determine what your top social media focus will be and why. Just choose one for now. In the end, you might decide on more than one channel to focus on, but if you could only choose one, which would you choose? Comment below, and once you have decided on that, let's go ahead and move on to the next part. For this final lesson, I am going to give you 3 tips to help you get started on creating amazing content. First, read posts out loud before you publish them. You may sound like a crazy person, falling into a hole of insanity as you talk to yourself at the computer. But people really relate well to posts where they feel like they are sitting down and chatting with you. Even if your posts are short or primarily image based, this will help. As you read a post out loud, ask yourself, does this feel stiff? Have you thrown in terms that you don't actually use in real life? Take cues from how you actually talk to make posts feel more personable. Second, don't try to be perfect. Perfect is boring. People want to know about the mess ups, the mistakes, the imperfections. In fact, it's your flaws that make you unique and relatable. And no, your mother didn't make me say that. It's just the truth. So instead of trying to be Instagram perfect, embrace the real you because that is what people are going to really connect with. Third, write. Write every day, even if you don't publish most of it. Set aside some time, even just 10 minutes, and practice expressing yourself through written word. Since becoming a freelance writer, I have discovered that I'm a much more efficient writer than I was even a year ago because it's something I'm doing every day. It's a skill that I have developed because when I first started blogging, I would agonize for hours over a simple 600-word post. Now it's a breeze. Understand that it won't always be easy, but regular writing practice will definitely help. For this lesson's task, take the about page texts that you wrote a few lessons back and read it out loud. Does it sound like you? Do you notice any changes you might want to make? Sharing the discoveries that you have made, either things that you really liked or things that you might want to change. Once you have done this, let's wrap up this course. Congratulations on all the work that you have put into this course and prepping for your blog. When you think about it, literally, anyone can start a blog. So, the fact that you have taken the time to outline a plan of action is already putting you well ahead of the game. Your next step really is to start blogging. There is only so much plotting and planning that you can do when it comes to a blog, and I'd honestly say that 95% of what you learn, you will learn from actually doing. The beautiful thing about what you are about to embark on is that it's not set in stone. It's not the end of the world if you end up having to migrate from WordPress.com to WordPress.org. Trust me, I did it myself. You can always change themes, edit pages, delete social media accounts in favor of other ones, and edit posts. If you are waiting around to create the perfect blog, you'll be waiting around forever. So instead, get started sooner rather than later. You have already got the preliminary plans laid out, which is amazing. Once you have got a URL to share, update me with a link to your blog through the comments section so that we can all take a look at it and learn from you. If you liked this course, definitely let me know what your feedback is. I would love to hear it. Also, for checking out our latest new courses, subscribe to our channel and stay updated. Remember to share the final URL to your site, because I'm so excited to see how your work has manifested itself into your new blog.